Hey all, Tony Bing here, hello and welcome to another Cosmic Trial video for Marvel Heroes Omega on the PlayStation 4. Now for this particular video we will run through the Cosmic Trial on a freshly levelled Ghost Rider. So we have currently just super heroic gear on him, we don't have a legendary. The purpose of this video is to show off an actual build and skills that can help get you through the trial, as opposed to having to rely on gear to help get you through. So for that reason, if you're a new player, this can hopefully push you into the cosmic difficulty. So what we'll do first up is we'll look at the skills and talents, we'll then do the Cosmic Trial gameplay, and at the end of that I'll show off the gear that we've used as well. Skill wise here then, although we have a full complement of skills, there's actually only a few that we really use. The other ones are optional, but using them because of the animations on them, you do have to be careful you don't get caught in Mandarin's fire. But the first skill we look at anyway, and again this is one that we don't use often at all, is Hellfire, which is your basic main spender. Now it does provide weaken, so for that reason it's worthwhile firing off every so often, and if you run out of spirit then it also provides spirit on hit as well, so that's the reason I've got it there if I do need it. One of the main skills we use is Inferno, and this one is fantastic. Now you can place up to 2 areas at a time. Through talents I've got it so that I actually cast an Inferno when I'm standing, as well as where I cast it on the enemy and it will actually heal me while I'm in the Inferno, so it really is pretty fantastic. Now it also has vulnerability on top of this. We then have a cooldown skill, Flay. This is useful to have for high damage, but again be wary of using this skill in the next one we look at animation wise, because it does lock you up for a second. The next skill we look at anyway, let's see, there we go, it's Hell from Above. So it's another just standard cooldown skill and it's hard hitting, can be useful. Once again be wary about using it. We then have Stoke the Blaze. This is the best option out of the remaining skills we've got, and with the talents we can use to buff this particular skill. So this one, it will terrify the enemy. It's got quite a long cooldown of 20 seconds and it causes enemies to explode if they're affected by Hellfire. So this is pretty nice. It's not one I would go out my way to use again like the previous two skills, but it is useful to have. We then have the signature, and this is really pretty great because it will terrify the enemies and cause them to disengage from you. It does a huge amount of damage. It has a 3% damage per 1% of target missing health execute, which means at low health you do an incredible amount of damage, and it's got a low 20-second cooldown as well, so it really is great. Now the final skill we look at, this one's possibly as equally as important as Inferno, and this is Hell on Wheels. So what you'll be doing by and large is laying down Inferno and then riding round the enemy with Hell on Wheels, and it does a nice amount of damage and you gain a movement speed buff, so this can be good for getting away from the enemy as well if you've used all your dashes. But next up what we'll do is we'll have a look at the talents we would use. The first talent we're using here is Rings of Fire, so this is the one that buffs our Inferno skill, where we have the additional pool of Inferno below the area where we're actually standing, and on top of that it's 3% of your max health you gain per second, so the higher your health pool the more you're regaining. Do bear that in mind. You also have a 10% defense rating multiplier, which is also always useful in the trial. We then have Fires of Vengeance. This will put firepower damage up, and on top of that it buffs your Hellfire damage by a huge 25%, so this really does help. And then we have Hell on Wheels. We take this because it transforms Whirling Chain into one of the bread and butter skills of our kit really, which is the Hell on Wheels that we discussed just a moment ago. And then we have Hellfire Combustion. Now there's not a lot of great options here, as you can see. This one buffs chains, which we're not using, and the other one reduces your health for powerful offensive benefits. We don't want our health getting reduced, not in the Cosmic Trial, so for that reason I use Hellfire Combustion, this one here. And then finally we have that great buff to the signature, which is Vengeance Incarnate, and that provides 3% damage per 1% of targets missing health, and you'll see during the trial when the enemy's health is low how quickly it goes down when I use this signature, and the fact it's only got that 20-second cooldown as well, it really is pretty fantastic. But what we'll do, we'll run through the Cosmic Trial, or even we'll ride through the Cosmic Trial, and once we've done that, at the end I'll show off the gear we've used as well.
craftsmanship. That's a damn sin. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I have no mercy for the likes of you.
A Mandarin is invincible.
My hellfire burns low.
So many ways to hurt you. This cannot be.
No science of any world can protect your soul from my vengeance.
And there we go. So Ghost Rider really did make that look pretty easy there. We had close to 2 minutes left on each of the bosses. So gear wise, as we can see, it's just regular gear, no legendary, super heroic gear. We do have the Tomb of Oster, which is fantastic on magic heroes. And another thing I would recommend if possible is having a catalyst with spirit on medkit, because using Hell on Wheels will run down your spirit relatively quickly, so do try and get hold of that. But other than that, nice and easy enough, and fresh players should be able to do it. Any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll see you all again soon.